You guys are the gurus at this, but then I will still try to explain how I understand SDG in my own little way. The role technology plays, the impactful tech solutions, case study, I'll use some 3 case studies, then challenges and consideration, leveraging partnership, and conclusion and question and answer. So SDGs, I believe you guys already know the 17 SDGs we have. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industrial innovation, infrastructure, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate change, life below water, life on the land, peace, justice, and strong institution, partnership for the goals. So these 17 things are actually things that we should actually, even without SDG, we are supposed to like strive so much to achieve all of them, because everything here is actually, there are things that our planet needs at this time. Because, for example, you've seen documentaries on how the dumping of straws and the likes in water bodies affect the animals below water. You will pity some of them when you see straw in the turtle's nose that goes as deep as I can't say. Then poverty, we've seen someone who is poor, like forget this fact that, for example, was it someone that was telling me that rice is now 52,000 naira. I was like, wow, a bag of rice 52,000 naira, and we have to eat. So poverty, if we can stop for poverty, it means we can have zero hunger, because if we can have our farmers farm and they can make money from it, and virtually everybody is not poor, then we can actually solve all these things. Good health and well-being. They say health is wealth. If anybody is sick, you can't actually, nothing actually makes sense to the person. So we need good health and the like. So I don't need to like start explaining all these SDGs one by one. I believe we already have a good rough understanding of what each of them mean. I'll just jump straight into what's it called now? Into my talk, which is technology as an enabler. So basically, I'll use some case studies to talk about how technology can be an enabler for our SDGs. So the power of digital platform. So basically, unlike in the time of our fathers, where before they can talk to each other, they might have to queue in front of a land phone for a while. I remember one of the stories, my favorite stories I've heard was a man trying to call the wife. They were still dating at that point. Then he will queue, then call the person that has phone in that community. So he will call the person, then the person will send someone to go and call the fiancé. So it will go back to the back of the line of the queue just to get back to that phone again, so that he can actually talk to the wife. I was like, wow, well done with the sacrifice. Because someone like me, Alaya, will be tired of like the queue and the likes like that. But then see our digital platforms. Now, for example, we are communicating and we are not in a single location. We are all in separate locations. I'm sharing my screen. You can see exactly what's going on my system. I'm talking from the comfort of my own house, and you all can hear me loud and clear. So that's the power of the platform. That's the power of technology. So now using technology to solve most of these problems. So actually, there's none of these problems that can't be solved using technology. But then I'll just use, for example, I'm working on an app right now. I called it Farming App. So I'll use that as a case study to talk about the power of digital platform and talking about the agricultural aspect of things, because agriculture actually is like the first work of man. So I'm running Farming App. We just launched like last week. And what Farming App is basically a marketplace for agricultural products. So farmers can put their product for sale before harvest. Buyers can come online and check, oh, this product is available, show interest even before the product is actually available. They can pay whichever time, maybe a week to the harvest, a month to the harvest, whenever the product will be ready. They can pay whichever time they want. They can actually chat with the farmers to confirm, oh, what's the status of this product. Is it actually of this type? They can even negotiate, like, oh, you said it is 700,000 naira per ton. Can I pay 650 and the likes like that? And have they have the market experience, like going to the market and buying things. So on a platform like that, and that's through technology. So you don't necessarily need to leave your house. to see what you want to buy. So you can actually order for it before your company or something needs it. So that's the power of a digital platform. So that on the long run will actually solve the problem of poverty. For example, most farmers actually harvest their product, then start looking for buyers. And while looking for buyers, most of these products are perishable. So most of these things get spoiled before getting to the market and the likes like that. So this solves that problem, for example, by actually helping the farmer to make more money, because they will be able to make maximum, because they know they can estimate how much product they will harvest from their farm. So they can actually sell it before they harvest it. So on selling and harvest, on harvest, they already have buyers that have already paid. We are using escrow payment, so nobody can cheat anybody because we know our Nigerian situation. So until the buyer actually says, oh, I got this product in good condition. And that thing we included on Farming App is the logistics aspect. That's where logistics company can actually come and put their services for hire on the app. So you don't necessarily need to even go to the farm to pick up your product, or the farmer needs to start running around to get maybe one bus to transport it. There are logistics companies that have put the infrastructure in place. You just need to leverage on a platform like us to like actually have people order their services and the likes. And another thing we looked at is, oh, if farmers are selling in large quantities, then we are not actually solving the problem to the final consumer. So we allowed grocery stores to be able to register their stores on our platform. So they actually have a unique URL and a QR code for each of their stores. So whenever a grocery store comes and set up a platform, it's more like it's creating a website for free. And we've solved the problem of logistics because logistics companies are already registered. We solved the problem of some things they need because the farmers are already registered. We solved another problem of payment because we've already integrated payment on our platform. So something like that. So on the long run, that will solve the problem of poverty, because farmer is rich, but this company is getting enough, products to transport. The store owners are also selling to their consumers, and it's making life comfortable for the people that are working. They don't necessarily need to like go to the market to do anything, or like, for example, Lagos, for example, where people are busy, they don't necessarily need to like go to the market to get their product. They can easily order from their office and it will be delivered on the same day within hours. Actually, our plan is to actually get everything delivered within 3 hours. And that will be it. We are allowing buyers to start buying from Friday this week. That's 6th of October, to start making purchases. Logistics companies will start getting operations and the likes like that to get things. So decent work and economic goods. For example, the store owners are having a decent work, leveraging on our app. The logistics company are getting decent work done, leveraging on just one app. Farmers are getting decent work done, leveraging on one app. And another thing we are looking at is this no poverty thing. For example, when farmers see, oh, my products are actually perishing, because of course you will estimate how much you will spend on estimate how much the farm produce that you are selling. You estimate how much you will sell on those ones that you'll be able to sell, because you know some of them will perish. But on the long run, you know none of these things is going to perish. Then the price of agricultural product will actually reduce. The market price of agricultural product will reduce. Logistics people too, when they see, oh, I'm getting enough products to transport, and I'm not transporting for just one store, I'm not transporting for just one person at a time, I'm transporting for a number of people. So they can actually reduce their price. Meaning what? People will be able to afford their services. So when you are spending less on more, then we can have no poverty, reduce poverty to the point of no poverty, then zero hunger, because when you can afford your daily bread, then you have zero hunger. I've used data-driven decision. Another thing we are doing again is we are trying to use data to make decisions, because, for example, I told you I'm a data scientist. So one of the things we are trying to get is we want to be able to predict what's the quantity of products the market will need next year. What's the quantity of products the farmer should produce? Don't produce this one, produce this type of cocoa, produce this type of rice and the likes like that. So we can easily forecast. Then we can forecast how much we need to export, because we encourage our farmers to plant more. Then we know this is the quantity our country actually needs. Then beyond that quantity, let's just export it and make more money to generate better GDP for our country. So that's one of the things our data can do. Then we are building a recommendation engine where we can recommend products to you. For example, if you're an household that buys from a particular store, we can easily recommend, oh, people that buy this also buy this. So you won't forget to buy some, because if you are buying at different times, you're paying different logistics price. But then if you buy your product at once, then you're just paying one logistics price to get everything transported to your house. So that's one of the things we can use data for, and some other things that we are using data for that we can't reveal at this time. Then the power, I've spoken about the power of data. So innovative solutions And then let me talk about healthcare. I work with a health company last year to the beginning of this year. We call them O Health. And what O Health does basically is a telemedicine website where you can go to the app, you can download their app on Play Store or on App Store, or even use their website. You can contact a doctor and actually have real-time communication with the doctor. Like you book an appointment, when the appointment time is set, the both of you receive notification. Then when the time is when it's about time, you guys get on a call. You can do video call, you can do audio call. The doctor will write prescription, he will prepare your EMR, that's your electronic medical record, recommend drugs. And there are pharmacies on the app too that you can easily buy your drugs from those pharmacies and they can deliver it to your house. So that's in the place of healthcare. Education, I know of schools. I was speaking to the CEO early this year. She was in Mexico around June this year. And what they do at schools is basically they get tutors, teachers. They record the videos, the way you have it on YouTube. They record the videos for kids on their platform. Then you just go there, pay for a particular course. And the token for each course, I think the highest I've seen on their platform is around 3-5. And your children can learn as much as learning web development, graphic designing, and the likes like that. That's in the place of healthcare. Clean energy. I know of what's the name? Eco Tutu in Lagos. They produce these refrigerators that cools your products, like your groceries and everything. They have one at, I don't know the name of the market. They have this big cold room, and it's all powered by solar. So they are not necessarily using the electricity or burning fuel, fossil fuel to like make, what's it called, to make these things cooler. They're actually using solar, like your normal solar panels laid on the whole thing. You can actually buy from them and put in your house. They have small cold room, big cold rooms, and the likes of that. So that's clean energy. And there are some other innovative solutions, especially in Nigeria, that people are actually doing these days. So, and they are leveraging on technology out. For example, if you are using Echo to cold room, they don't necessarily need to come and meet you and be like, oh, this is the quantity of things you are putting on in our cold room. No. Once you put it, there are sensors on each of their shelf space. And those sensors measure weight, measure how much size of your product is. So they automatically get data on their platform and they easily charge you. This is how much you are paying to cool this thing for a social amount of time. So when your time is when you have it, let's say I want to cool it for 3 days, then you know how much you are paying. And they're leveraging on technology. So you receive it on your own app, they receive it in their office too. So when you pay, it's just automatic payment on the platform. Same thing with the OL thing I said. You pay on the platform with your credit card and you can communicate. So they charge you per minute, per consultation with any doctor. So they are specialists. You can pick any specialist you like, for example. Then I mentioned how Scoops works. So it's totally online, like leveraging on technology. And the thing is, let me just mention this. The thing with technology is it's actually easy to learn technology in this our digital age. I will use myself as an example. Learning from data analysis, because I study statistics, from learning data analysis to becoming a data scientist, to becoming a backend developer, to building front end myself, to being able to learn how to build mobile app. I never paid anybody to learn anything. I'll just go on YouTube, get good videos. And you might have to actually spend time researching, okay, who is better. And the thing is, what works for Mr. A might not work for Mr. B. Can actually learn all these things free of charge in the comfort of your house and build on. And coming up with ideas is just we're checking our environment. What are the problems we are facing? Okay, let me use Farming App, which is my own platform, as an example. How did I come up with Farming App? Back in school when we're in final year, I don't know if Mr. Jeremiah remembers, there was this tomato problem. So it caused increase in agricultural products, in the price of agricultural products. So normally I don't buy food. My parents send food to me, but then at that point they didn't send food. They told me to go and buy food myself. So they sent money. I went to the market. Oh Jesus, I almost cried that day because the food I bought was nothing to write home about. And on getting back to my room in the hostel, there was this. I do this data analysis for people. So this guy brought his data from actual economics. You know the way we use questionnaires. Now the questionnaires were like 8 pages. So I had to enter everything on my system using XPSS. Then on analyzing the data, I discovered the whole data setup, the whole thing we needed was just on 1 page. So the whole thing I entered was just a waste of my time. I was not like, oh, how can I actually gather data from farmers for students like this to use and for us to be able to like predict problems like this in the agricultural sector on the long run. So I was like, okay, should I build a social media like Facebook? I don't know if you guys know, you posting pictures on Facebook, Twitter, and the likes. It's just with the dumping data and it can be used for analysis. In fact, they are using it already. For example, I still mine data on Twitter 2 weeks ago. Or I was trying to get how people are relating with farming app, because we just introduced farming app. So I was trying to get the sentiment analysis of what are people saying about farming app? How can I leverage on what they are saying? How can I change the tune of what they are saying about farming app? So I mined data from Twitter. I was like, oh, how can we actually get data from farmers? At first, I was like, oh, let me just create a Google Docs, a Google form where they can fill their list. I was like, that one will work for just maybe one project topic. It's one work for a big research like I wanted. So I was not like, okay, there's this agricultural problem. We need data for that. And I want to be able to build IoTs, like that's Internet of Things, that people can use as sensors in their farms and the likes like that, to gather data about soil, about crops, about plants, about how much they can produce on each farmland. So that was how farming app came. Like, okay, why don't we create a place where they can actually sell their products? So on the long run, we can actually convince them to actually buy input from us. And if they can buy input from us, we can actually tell them, oh, this is how to plant it. Then we can advise them, then give them IoTs that they can use to like use as sensors on their farm and do like that. So that's like, you see the iterative process. I saw a problem of food scarcity. I saw a problem of data. Then I was able to like come up, I checked the current available solutions that others use that are not in the agricultural sector. Then I was able to like transfer the knowledge of social media into the agricultural sector, so such that they can easily. Then I was like, okay, I now transfer the knowledge of our normal market, because we are Nigerians. When you go on Jumia, on Konga, on Amazon, you don't price. But when you go to that woman that you know is poor, that sells corn beside the road, that costs the corn 200 naira, you still say, I'm only show by 150, and the likes like that. So I had to bring the knowledge of, oh, these things happen on our street. Let's bring it to the app. Let them be able to negotiate with the farmers. That's how we actually build solutions. So using the knowledge of what happens in our environment, bring it into a digital world without actually removing the flavor that we enjoy in our physical world in the digital world. That's how we can actually use knowledge, because we can't bring technology from the West. We can't bring technology from the US to solve Nigerian problem. For example, they might not be negotiating like that for agricultural products in the West, like maybe in USA, in the UK, maybe they already have a standard price for everything. And here we don't. So if I just go and say, oh, this is how they are solving it, and I bring it to Nigeria, it might not work. But what I've noticed is when something works in our country where there is abundance of problem, if we take it there, it will work, because the problems here is even more than there. So when we export our own solutions to them, they will enjoy it and be like, this is an innovation. But then we can't bring their solutions to our place. That's why we have a lot of problems. We bring tractors that are not compatible with our soil. So when we use them, it's actually changing the texture and the surface area of our soil, like the way the porosity of our soil is. I don't know how to explain it here, but then farmers are actually complaining about using all those things. So we need to like come up with ideas, digital innovative ideas that can help us. For example, drone technology. I know of a guy that, I forgot the name of his company. They used to drone technology is actually workable really workable in Nigeria. And there are a lot of sensors on their drones that measure and check a lot of things on the farm for them to be able to like compute the data and dispense it to the farmers. So if we can do something like that, now bringing it down to a cheaper rate so that the farmers and everybody can afford. For example, on farming app, we charge 3% on every transaction. And we are even looking at reducing, because our payment system, the payment system we are using is charging us 1.5%. So it's actually like we are doing more of charging them half of the money we are charging them. But then by God's grace, next year we build our own payment system. So we're able to charge them even as low as 2% on every transaction. Like that, we are making things comfortable for ourselves, for our environment, and we are able to achieve all these SDGs. So I would like challenge everybody here now. If you can like go into your environment, see the problem that is already existing, find a way to solve it without actually causing more of a burden on those people. Because what happens with most of us is when we say we want to create an innovative solution, we make it expensive such that the people around us cannot afford them. Then we need to partner up and collaborate. How do I mean by partnership? For example, I'm into creating a platform for this. I'm going to collaborate with stores. For example, I'm having meetings with stores in Ibadan, like Foodco, Brent, and the likes, stores in Lagos and the likes like that, so that they can come on the platform. They won't need to like go ahead and build their own website one by one. Imagine building a website. To build recommendation engines and that problem. And that thing we are giving them is once they can sell up to 3 million worth of products in 3 months consecutive period, then we can build them their own bespoke app. Instead of using farming app, they can have Foodco app, they can have Brent app. Though it's still working on our platform, but then that's a solution for them to like use for their own good and the likes like that. So let's just collaborate with, for example, collaborating with farmers already. I'm collaborating with stores. I'm collaborating with logistics companies. I'm going to collaborate with agri-service agencies. I'm going to collaborate with companies that actually do these agricultural products. That's the power of collaboration. For example, the healthcare system, the healthcare app I told you, the doctor is from, what's it called? She works with UCH. So she collaborated with doctors in UCH and collaborating with other doctors from other environments, pharmacy stores around her, such that they can leverage on the power of the platform to dispense their services. So that's that on partnership. So sustainable development through innovation. So, okay, now how do we sustain the solutions that we have provided? Okay, we make it affordable for our people. We make it what's it called now? Very interactive. Like, how do I put it? For example, see the place of chatting with your farmer. Sometimes you don't even need to buy it from the farmer. You just want to like ask some questions about the product you purchased. You can just enter into their DM and ask them questions. So they are not so far away again. They are very close to you. So we need to make it interactive, like the way we work in our normal market today, in the way those problems exist now, how we solve them now. Bring those ways we solve them into the digital world and have it available for everybody, then make it something sustainable that we can innovate on for the future. For example, if I tell you the applications we have for farming app, you'll be surprised, like, oh, is this thing actually going to work in Nigeria? But then we've learned how to ease them in. For example, see WhatsApp, when WhatsApp came, it was just messaging, direct messaging. Then they created group, they created status, they created voice call, they created video call, group call, and the likes like that. So now they are creating channels. So they are now turning a normal messaging system into a social media. And that's how we should iteratively increase our reach on our social media platforms. So future trends, by God's grace, I want us to actually stop importing technology into our country. So I'm looking at a age in which we export technologies, we export products out. Because, for example, one of the challenges we are having right now is most of these tools we are using in this country. For example, my server is not hosted on a Nigerian server. It's hosted on a foreign server. It's hosted in the UK, which I'm paying for every time and the likes like that. So, and the thing, for example, exchange rate is affecting me right now. So if I'm looking at a way in which everybody pick a problem and solve, then we collaborate, such that we use IoTs on the farms. You pick a problem, and the thing is, one solution that we provide in Nigeria especially can solve up to 5 SDGs at the same time. So I'm looking at that, such that we can use technology, we can teach the younger. For example, I have mentees around me. If I see any boy on my street, before they become Yahoo boys, that's my own gospel. I'll pick them up. You can learn this thing. You can learn UI UX. You can learn programming. You can learn front end. You can learn back end. Pick one. In fact, I dashed out 3 laptops last year. So I'm looking at a way in which we can mentor the coming generation. So I will entertain any question anybody has yet. I believe I've exhausted all the topics I have, and this is like the last slide. So if you have any question, I would like to have your questions right now.
Are you okay? Thank you very much, Mr. Abbas. Can you hear me?
You said?
Can you hear me, sir?
We can hear you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Abbas Olaya. I personally learned a lot on how we can use technology to solve the problem of hunger, to solve healthcare in terms of drug prescription, consultation, and also education, and also in terms of clean energy. So I hope you understood what Mr. Abbas Olaya thought. So if we have questions, kindly raise up your hand. No. So if you have questions, please kindly raise up your hand. So you'll be called to ask your question. Okay, it's looking like
I'm sorry, Miss Urala, your line is breaking. We can't hear you well. All right, so let's have Mrs. Barbara. You can unmute yourself and ask your question, ma'am.
Okay. Your presentation, it has really been insightful and it has really helped. So my question is for someone who probably whose project is in an ideation state, like something that could solve one of these solve part of the problems. How would you like advise the person to start? Maybe the person does not have anyone to collaborate with. Like this is just an idea in his or her head. Like how would you advise the person to start? Like where should the person start from?
Okay, ideation state. I was in ideation state for a very long time. I really, Mr. Jerry can testify to that. So, if your idea is in an ideation state, okay, for example, let me give you an instance. Let's say you want to do buying and selling. You can start with the free tools you have. Let's say WhatsApp. Reach out to, use your social media, reach out to the key players in the sector. Do a test run. Then not having people to collaborate with, I will not say that's not totally true, but then there will always be someone to collaborate with. It's just a matter of you marketing your idea. So before you can market it to the people that will pay, you can market it to the people that will invest their time and energy. For example, right now on Farming App team, apart from the marketers we are hiring, and in fact we still need 2 more marketers. In case you know anybody that can market in Lagos, we need 2 more marketers. Apart from the marketers we are hiring, I'm not paying anybody, and I have roughly 15 people on my team. In fact, 4 new people told me they want to like come and volunteer on my team. And that's not because of, I'm giving them something or I'm paying them or there is one big benefit they are getting. It's more of the value they see. Like this thing is going to solve this problem. And this person is of this status, of this character. This person will not cheat me. The reputation I've built over time, the people I've influenced around me, and the type of messages I put out there, like people hear about me and likes like that. That's why they could come. So the thing is, you can start small with WhatsApp, your normal social media, Facebook, Instagram, Google Form. In fact, you can get my contact from Mr. Jerry, and we can discuss about the idea and see how we can like come up with innovative ways of like molding it up something that can be marketed to. I don't believe there's an idea that can be marketed. So if you can like come up with it, start small, get 1 or 2 people, maybe your family members, your friends, to invest in it, not necessarily financially, invest their time, invest their resources. For example, I'm not good at graphic designing as much as some people on my team. So they do graphic designing. For now, I'm doing video editing myself. But one boy saw the video I did last week and was like, "Who did this for you?" I said, "I did it myself." "Wow, I do video editing, sir. Can I come and join your team so I'll be doing the video editing for you?" See, something like that. He has reduced my stress. Something like so. Just take the first step, take the bold step of starting. Talk to people around you, let them know about it. Then I believe sky is the limit. You can always get more people, but then be careful with the people you bring on board too. So just use the tools available: WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Google Form, Google Sheet, all those things. They are made free of charge for us to leverage on. And if there's anything you need to learn, I can always help. I hope I've been able to answer that question well.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. We're able to learn, being able to start small, being able to bring people on board, and we also learn from that whatever you will need from others, you should be able to start, have an idea with it. So if you need editing, graphic design, have an idea of graphic design. When you're able to start small, other people will take it up with you. So we also have another question, another hand from Okpei. Okpei, you can unmute yourself to ask your question.
Good evening. Good
Good
evening, our
evening.
speaker. Thank you for
Good evening.
this very session. We've been well enlightened. Thank you very much. So my question, okay, what I want to ask is, I'm a 7 core member in Ibadan here. In the school where I was being posted for my PPA, I covered something. Though I am not that tech inclined, I'm not and all of that or into anything tech at all. So, but I discovered a problem of non-payment of school fees by the parents of the students and all of that. Then on pondering on thinking through the how we can be able to solve that solution. I now came up with what if someone can come up with an idea of building a kind of a platform or an app or a site that helps those the parents to kind of save a micro saving app that can help the parents to save periodically over time so that they will be able to, you know instead of the difficulty of paying the money having the money in bulk before they'll come and pay school fees. What if we if an app is developed whereby maybe on a weekly basis, weekly basis, they can be able to maybe save up a little amount of money, within a month, they'll be able to maybe save up to the school fees of of their child of one child, because most of them, one of the reasons why they have difficulty in paying these school fees is because discover that most of them have like 3 or 4 kids in one school. So before they could be able to raise that money to pay for all of them, it's always very difficult for them. So if there's a way we can leverage someone can we can leverage on the power of technology as we're talking about, be able to build something that will help them to be saving maybe on a daily basis, saving a little amount of money on a daily basis. Before the end of the session or of the term, they must have been able to save up money, you know, in a micro level to be able to pay the school fees of their children. So with this idea, but the problem I have is because I am not into tech, I don't actually know how to go about solving this particular problem. So that is the question I'm trying to throw up. How can I go about bringing the solution into education, solving the problem of difficulty in payment of school fees by low, income parents and all of that. So
All right.
that's my
Thank you so
question.
much. Thank you so much,
Mm.
sir. Let's see how we can quickly answer that question and move to subsequent sessions. Our panelists also has 1 or 2 things to say before we move straight to the general question and answer. So, Mr. Olaya, over to you, sir. In 30 seconds, how can you help us build up the idea to fruition?
Okay, the thing is, I believe the major thing you need to do is build a payment system, because we are leveraging on the existing payment system. They'll be charging you on each money those people are putting into your this thing, and have an investment plan. Like, what are you doing with the money? Are they just saving with you? What are you doing with the money? Are you doing forex with it, which I will not advise? Are you working with crypto and the likes like that? Because you can't just add that money on with you and just keep like that. You have to invest it to make more money, because you can't just build a platform where they will be doing thrift. You have to build a platform where they can use to pay their school fee, and at the same time you can make the money actually increase for them. So that's where the idea actually starts. So you have to like look for a way to make sure the money increases. Then after the money increases, then they can maybe out of the maybe 100K that they need to pay a school fee, maybe they will just need to raise 70K. And if they are raising over the period of 3 months, maybe you've made extra 30K for them that they can actually help them to pay the school. That's where you're actually helping them, not just giving money for them. So you need to build a payment system and find an investment plan that works for you to build such a solution. If you need the technology that we use to build it, you can always reach out.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. That is actually a great one. I was not thinking to that area, and I'm sure that every one of us will have learned one or two things from this thing that was just said. Number one, what I learned is that don't just create a solution. Don't just think to create a solution. Think to create a sustainable solution. It is easy to create a solution, but it takes the effort now is how will this solution solve not just one SDG, but also 3, 4, 5 SDG goals. So this is like a wake-up call for us that we are passionate is not enough. We are creating a solution is not enough, but are we creating a sustainable solution? All right, that is actually a great one. Thank you so much. Mr. Okwei, please, you can lower your hand. So we want to move to the next session. And I'm sure my co-host is available to take over. Uraola, are you available right now?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
It seems like your network is a little bad.
Me now.
We can't hear you well.
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you very well now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, we are going to have our next speaker, and I would like to have Mr. Damilare Israel first. He's our first panelist, and he is going to take us on a short session of how technology, where should we start from in technology? You know, everyone thinks that technology is this very big word that we have to just, first of all, go deep into coding, go deep into this UI, UX, front end, back end. Technology is so massive. Is that how technology has been so massive that every one of us, when you hear, I'm a tech bro, I'm tech 6, we think that they have the big money or they are the one that has the next generation money. What is actually technology? Do a layman have access to technology? So these are the questions it's going to solve for us. And I will like us to welcome Mr. Damilare Israel. Mr. Damilare Israel, over to you, sir.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Please, if you can hear me very well, can you just type, I can hear you, so that I'm sure that we are all hearing me very well. So while you're doing that, I'll keep going. So my name is Damilare Israel, and it's good to have everybody here, and I'm happy to be doing this with everybody. So technology is one of those words that we hear and everybody was like, so it's all about coding, it's all about programming, software development, and a lot of what tech is all about. And in fact, a lot of people do fall out of information, fall out of things they could do with the sound of tech. I remember discussing with a lady about things she can do with her phone, and she was like, "Well, me, I cannot do tech. I'm not for tech. I can't do stuff like that." And I just laughed because what she was even doing at the moment, all right, as at that time, is tech. So I got to know that we probably need an orientation about what technology is and what it does, especially in connection to uh, SDG goals of the United Nations. So I would like to also present my screen, to share my screen rather. However, I may not really dive too much in what I prepared in that but let me share it anyways. Oh, please. So the host need to allow me to share screen, please. Mr. Ojo, please, you need to allow me to share my screen. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. I
Okay.
am working on it. But
Okay,
you
so
can
let me.
proceed while we work
Yes,
on it,
yes,
sir.
thank you. Yeah, exactly. So, so now, do everybody have to code? Do everybody have to build apps, build website, do all of those things before we say that the person is a tech person or it's technology? The answer is no. Yeah, the answer is no. What we are doing right now, this is we are having this workshop on Zoom. This is technology, all right. Our day-to-day living, everything we do is technology. Trust me. My phone had a little issue on Sunday, and the screen went off. I couldn't do anything. Sincerely, I was like, my life is miserable. Sincerely, because I couldn't do anything when the screen broke. My router, the data finished, so which means I can't even connect to that laptop to do anything. So it was just like a blank word to me, especially with literacy in education and all. We all have been engaged in technology one way or the other. So what we need actually, especially for all of us that is engaged as an advocate for SDG programs and its goals, its 17 goals, it is important to understand how we can leverage on technology and what technology can do for us. So, in short, when we hear the word technology, right? So, in just lay a simple meaning of technology, technology refers to the application of scientific knowledge, tools, and techniques to solve practical problems and accomplish specific tasks. It encompasses a wide range of processes, tools, systems, and devices that humans have developed over time to improve their lives, enhance productivity, and expand their understanding of the world. So, far back to the way our parents used to live their life back then, uh, to do so many things, even to use a phone is a problem. I could remember that time for a SIM card cost a fortune. If you have a SIM card that time, sincerely, you are a big boy, or probably your parents could have a SIM card, and that means that you guys are doing well because you would buy a SIM card before you buy a phone. Now we buy a phone before we buy a SIM card. Trust me. Now, far back then, there were a lot of issues with communication. You can hardly communicate with someone except you see the person. You can't talk to anybody except you see the person. Now I want to operate at a level that I don't want to operate as if we are talking to, probably I'm teaching a primary school student. Now this is not a teaching, this is just a lecture. However, technology started with the introduction of innovations, ideas, creation of devices, creation of ideas like what the Mr. Abbas said. That was a powerful session. Thank you so much, sir. What he said the other time with the app, right, is working on, or the app he has worked on before. Now, all these things pulled together, they are called technology. The person that is programming, all right, the person that is writing a code, or the person that is building an app is only working on your idea. The person is working on your idea as a professional, all right? It doesn't mean that you that owns the idea is not making use of technology. When you sleep, when you wake up, you take your phone, you send emails, you make calls, you make use of an app, you order food online, all those stuffs, you have engaged in technology. And fulfilling or achieving SCDS goals really has become something very germane that if we don't make use of technology, then it becomes a problem, a very serious problem. So I will go on with my slide anyways, without probably if I'm not sharing or I share. All right, so I
Please
have
try to share your
copies of
screen now.
okay, I can share now. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, all right. Okay, so can we see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so I just talked about technology and what it means. So let's just go ahead because of time. So now, technology plays a pivotal role in the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Now we have 17 interconnected goals, and this is aimed at addressing all the major goals that has been listed. I don't want to be reading. So now technology serves as a powerful tool for accelerating progress towards these goals in various ways. And these are the ways that I would like us to touch very fast. I'm not going to be reading too much. It's just for us to say. Now, the first one is access to information and education. Now, there are a lot of us that I know that we've taken a lot of courses online, be it on Coursera, be it on please you can type. There are a lot of I know we have a lot of learning hubs there. We have Coursera, we have LinkedIn. Yes, you can take a lot of on LinkedIn as well. We have so many of them. Pardon me, I've forgotten some of them. So personally, I can't how many courses I've taken online. How many courses I've taken online? I'm actually with finance right now, and we've never done any physical training. All we've been doing is online. So there is a website learning a lot of things, and this has happened to a lot of us. All right. Now, Internet of Things, digital services, all of these things has facilitated educational resources that has helped us in learning one or two things. You can learn. You can have a degree that is actually programmed online. You don't have to go to the four walls of a classroom. Now, this actually made the goal of SDG, which is SDG 4 and all right, which is quality education. Quality education. I don't have to sincerely go to you before I have a master's degree. I can take the courses online. I doesn't mean that my certificate is not valid or doesn't mean the same thing as the person who even went to UI. No, it's the same thing. We have the same qualification. Trust me. And the privilege I had, the leverage I have over somebody that I even went to the four walls of a classroom is that it gives me the ample time to do so many things, to work even while I'm learning. And this is one of the SDG goals that technology has actually helped us in achieving. Number two, healthcare access. Now, Mr. Abbas talked about this. He mentioned this. He was speaking. Now, telemedicine, a thing that was introduced into healthcare. People who doesn't have access to a state hospital, you will know what it takes to see a doctor. You will see a lot of people, right, queuing to see a doctor. Now, the issues with this is that by the time a lot of people are waiting, you don't know the severity of someone's condition. Somebody that needs the attention of a doctor as soon as possible. Now, and the process of our country, I know that today is October 1st. Happy Independence Day. I know that our country will get better by the day. Anyways, but right now our reality, if you go to this, you see what they do there. Now, this is a remote diagnosis and treatment of patient telecommunication. Sincerely, you really don't have to go to the hospital before you get an appointment with beauty and have like that here in Ibadan. And you don't, they will talk to you. You even have a pharmacist that will talk to you online. They recommend drugs for you. You can order and stuff like that. Then, you get quick response. Quick attention to whatever health condition you have. This is one of the innovations that tackles healthcare access in SD, which is a part of the goals in SDG 3. Now, it's important that we all look into all these aspects, especially if you have a project that you're working on and how you can leverage on these things. They are there, or you create your own. There's no crime in you having an idea, like Mr. Bass also said. You have an idea. If you're in the health sector or you're in the educational sector, there are a lot of ideas you can spring up, and you don't have to code before you do all these things. You can just collaborate. Collaboration is one of those things that will help you, especially if it's technologically based. Whatever thing you have to do, you have to collaborate. Let's move ahead. Then three, clean energy and sustainable infrastructure. If you go to some areas like Niger Delta, where their waters are contaminated. This is why they have a lot of insurgencies there, a lot of all these tyrants. What they do over there, because they've taken over their lands. Now, a lot of companies now have now realized that okay, some set of people in some areas couldn't access clean water. Sorry, pardon me, I'm going out of context. We are talking about clean energy. Pardon me, this is the particular slide that talks about water. Now, clean energy and sustainable infrastructure. Now, technology advancement in renewable energy, smart grid system. Now, this particular aspect talks about the inventions of, if you go to some villages, you hardly see light, you hardly see them, they are in total darkness. Don't let's go to a village. In Ibadan here, go to some areas, you will see total darkness everywhere. Let's talk down to our streets. If all the street lights, all right, street light, by the time you are moving by night, and last year, people that are familiar with Ibadan, this Ayefele that particular access before they did the street light that was there, they always murder people around that place. They will murder. That's around my house. They murder. You will always see corpses in the morning. Wake up. But by the time they did all these people to operate, now in your house you're doing it even now. These particular innovations has really helped achieve clean energy and sustainable infrastructures in SDG 7, SDG 9, SDGs 11. All right, and this has promote innovations because people are coming up with new ideas every day, new things about energy, about how to have a clean energy in our homes, in our industries, and this reduce the level at which we have issues even with our health, because by the time there is a particular energy our generator produce, when you put on generator, there's this thing it produce and it actually have a negative effect on our health. So this has been I think it's called carbon monoxide. Yeah, that what a generator produce is not good for the health. Now solar systems really solve that issue, and I mean it has been, and if you see a lot of houses now, you see solar panels, solar excuse me, solar touchlights, lamps, a lot of them, they are there. So these things is what we can key into if this is your niche or is your industry. Let's move ahead. Then agriculture and food security. Now these, for agriculture, trust me, there are a lot of things, especially if you're that you can't be left behind with technology. And sincerely, UN and its SDG goals placed so much priority hunger, zero hunger. Trust me, if agriculture is not moving, then that means that all of us will be starving. And I know we like food and we must eat. Now, technology has really helped us. In IIT, when you enter that place and a lot of things they have, there is a particular program which actually took me into IIT. It's called TAT. That's Technologies for African Agricultural Transformation by African Development Bank. And this particular thing is to bring in youth, train them, expose them to technologies, all right, that can ensure that we have precision agriculture. That's why I put it here, that precision agriculture. And these are like drones, IoT devices. This help increase, reduce waste, and improve food security. Now, a lot of these innovations has really helped since. And there is a man in Ibadan, I forgot his name back then. So I visited his farm, and when I got there, sincerely, I was wowed. That man, it was just somebody that do this local farming, and he had a little opportunity. And today he's producing juice from his farm product. Is producing gari, all right, from by processing cassava. And to press cassava, definitely, you make use of technology, you make use of device, machines. These are how technology has helped us. Gender equality. Now, aspect you may be one, how what has technology has to do with gender equality? It has helped a lot. They place so much priority on male child than this giving birth to children, cook, help with family, and that's all about a girl child. But right now technology has come. A girl child can decide to fight for herself, go online, even if the father is saying that I don't want to train you in school, go online, all right, which makes it that all these SDGs, they connect to each other, they are connected. So now the access to informations can help a girl child, all right, to have quality education. Same way technology has provided gender equality advocacies. That means that you can't just mess up with a girl can't you can't harass the girl child. There are platforms online, there are technology. There's any issues back then? Back gone are those days when a girl child would be molested and nothing will happen. Right now, you can't try that. You can't do that, and that's because of the digital literacy programs that's been put in place. So I'm rushing now. 6, clean water and sanitation. Trust me, this is where I was trying to explain the other time. IoT sensors and water purification technologies, they help ensure clean water access and efficient resource management, addressing SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. So there is a company now that I saw online earlier this year that they filter dirty water. They filter dirty water, or they recycle the water that is coming from your bedroom, or the water that is coming from the lay pipe. Now, what they do is that they now reproduce that water to a filtered water, all right, to a clean water from a dirty water. That's technology. Trust me. What that happens is that it helps us to mitigate the factor of erosion. It helps to mitigate the flood issues, except aside from rain, all right. And if you see some particular areas, especially where companies are situated, industrial areas, you will see how they mess up places. Now, purifications of waters through some little devices that you can use to purify water, make sure that dirt is not entering your water. This is technology, and if you are in this industry, trust me, you can key into this and use the technology to achieve some of those goals. 7, innovation and partnerships. Now I have 2 more slides, or 3, I guess, so I'm rounding up. Technology fosters innovation platforms, facilitates international cooperation and partnership. So the 3 organizations that they are not in Nigeria, right? They are foreign companies, and I'm here in Nigeria working for them. Remote jobs. A lot of people are there. Remote jobs. You go to Cave One, go to the bunker, you will see, young people there working. Now, if you have ideas now and you can pitch very well, there are foreign organizations that they are ready to, to take your ideas up. We've been chosen as SDG advocates, all right? We applied online. We did this online, all right? And with partnership with some pastors in Nigeria, UN SDG program and a team, they have been able to achieve so many things. Now, what this gave you the privilege of innovating, having ideas, then you partner with people, not just in Nigeria, all right, with international organizations. And this actually address the goals of SDG for SDG 17, which is partnerships for the goals to address global challenges collectively. So you can have idea that will solve a global challenges or problem. I'm using challenges because in psychology that's what we're taught. We don't say problem, we say challenges, all right? So that will solve a global challenges. So you don't have to actually travel to South Africa or travel to US before you partner with organizations to get some ideas or some innovations, all right, to put them on track so that they can solve some of these goals. Now, number 8, economic growth. So it's simple. When all of us we have ideas and we are making use of technology, definitely there's going to be economic growth. Trust me. And that this is the only reason why these people, politicians, people that are getting contract and all, they are having leverage over us, because they definitely know that the usage of technology, all right, for ideas, we actually help them to gain more wealth, which they are supposed to pump back into the society, but they are not. Now, when you have an idea, right now we are also working on an app. Actually, A food is their idea is something a friend of mine and myself we founded about 7-8 years ago. We've talked about it, but we didn't do anything about it. Now, A food introduced it. When they introduced, we tried to diversify by bringing stores together. I woke up one day, I wanted to order food, and man, A food has introduced stores into their app. So we couldn't even do that. Now we are now bringing up another idea. So all these things that we are doing, all SDG goals, they fall back to economic growth, and which is a global thing to happen. Then number 9, I think it should be the last one: financial inclusion. Financial inclusion. Now, digital financial services and mobile. And I know this particular one applies to all of us. I can't remember the last time I entered the banking hall to do anything, because it is seriously stressful to go and queue in the bank. So financial inclusion, it solves SDG 1 and SDG 10, because no poverty. No poverty means that when people get jobs, why? Because some people are having ideas about fintech, all right, they create apps, they employ people. They create ideas, they employ people. So I will be in the companies of my own and work. I don't have to go to the banking hall before I transfer. I don't have to go to the banking hall before I know my account balance. I don't have to go to the banking hall before I do some basic things that I could have entered the banking hall to do. So all these, they are technology and they have been leveraged on, and we have to really leverage on them. Oh, okay. I think I have the last one before my conclusion. So environmental monitoring, SDG 13, SDG 14, and SDG 15. So technology including remote sensing, data analytics, which Mr. Abbas does, which is very great. IoT sensors, like I put some examples there. Now, these helps in monitoring climate change. I might want to travel and check my phone to know what the weather is talking about. It forms my decision making process, which actually helped a lot, and not just because of that, in also preserving marine life below water. I did aquaculture in IT, and sincerely, I can relate with this very much. And a lot of devices we use in order to cultivate these things. Now, all these points that I've said fall back to a particular thing that we need to understand, which I put in my conclusion. Why
Oh, we cannot hear you anymore very well, sir. Hello, sir. Mr. Damilare, can you hear us?
including concerns related to data privacy, digital divides, and the environmental impact of technological consumption. Therefore, leveraging technology for sustainable development requires careful consideration of ethical, social,
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much for
hope.
having
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Damilare.
me. Yep.
I want to say thank you for that awesome presentation. And before we move into question and answer, I want us to go straight to the second panelist. Please, I'm sure we have questions, but please let's note them down while the second panelist, because we want to round this up maximum by 6:40. And in the next 10 minutes, I would like to welcome the second panelists in person of Mr. Jerry Iguavon. Mr. Jerry Iguavon will talk about data and data in technology for SDG advancement. What is data? Which aspect or why do we need data in all our SDG advocacies and achievements? So, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Jerry Iguavon as he takes us into the subject of data in technology. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the previous two speakers. You have really spoken well. I would like to share my screen as well. Please give me a moment. Let me quickly do that. Okay, I think I'm having problem sharing screen, but because of time, let me just continue like this. Are we together?
Yes, we are
Hello?
together.
Okay. So I'm taking a leveraging on data to achieve sustainable development. So I'll start by making a brief introduction. Data is facts and statistics collected together for reference or analysis. So That being said, data must be fact. It must contain facts and it must contain statistics for it to be useful. Data alone is not enough. It must be factual and it must be statistical for it to be able to decision making. So data is important for informed decision making. When we say informed decision making, insightful decision making, it is important for problem solving, for greater understanding, for improving the processes, and for understanding behavior. Data for sustainable development. Data can help achieve the sustainable development goals if only it is quality, if only it is trustworthy, and if only it is open. So for data to be viable, it must be quality, trustworthy, and open. That is, the data must be factual, like I mentioned earlier. It must be factual. It must be trustworthy. The source from which the data is coming must be trustworthy. And the data must be open, accessible for everyone to see and vet it. So that is when we can say the data is viable. So data can be used to foster economic growth and job creation. For example, let's look at a conditional cash transfer. I'm using Nigeria as a case study. We can remember during the pandemic, the government was looking at possibility to make cash transfers to vulnerable people. But a question popped up at that time. How do they know those who are vulnerable? This is something that was done in some other developed countries. For example, the US. I know the US government transferred $1,000 to each vulnerable citizen during the pandemic to cushion the effect of the pandemic. They were able to do that because they had quality, trustworthy, and open data. So data is important to foster economic growth and job creation. Also, if we look at census, the birth rate, data is important to be able to know the birth rate, to be able to know the number of population. If, for example, any intervention is to be given, it is all of this data that will be leveraged on to make sure that it gets to the right persons and it gets to the right population. We are looking at food security. The government deliberated giving seeds to farmers. But a question also popped up that who are the farmers? Because everybody needs free things. If seeds are to be shared, even those who are not farmers will come up and claim those seeds. But once there is data, once there is good and reliable database, government will be able to know those farmers, those people who are qualified for that intervention. Also, data also helps to drive impactful. Hello, can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. So data also helps to, hello?
You can try to share your screen now, if possible, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Can you share your screen now?
Okay, yeah. I'm I'm on it now.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Great.
Can we see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen now, sir, so you can proceed.
Okay.
You can proceed, sir. You have 7 minutes more, sir.
Okay, sorry. So data, like I said, improve efficiency and effectiveness of public service. Economic growth is not enough. For example, in 2014, Nigeria experienced recorded high economic growth, very high growth in GDP. But how does it affect the common man on the street? Despite the economic growth, the rate of poverty was still high. That is because the economic growth is not a viable one. Economic growth on its own is not enough. But how does it affect? If, for example, I've worked in a place where we are paid a certain salary, and whenever we have raters or regulators or the authorities, we're being told to tell them a different salary. You understand? This is only possible because there is no data. If the authorities or the regulatory body has that actual salary or the data of such company, they will not be able to do that. So if the company is making a lot of profit, a lot of revenue, it will not affect the common man. It will not affect the employees of that company because of lack of quality data, because of lack of open and trustworthy data. And you can also tell that such company will also do same when it comes to tax. When it comes to tax filing, they will also do the same thing. So government need that quality and open data to be able to get revenue. Are we sure these companies are reporting the actual and the factual revenue they are generating? So because of lack of quality data, the government will be losing resources, will be losing funds in all of those areas. So data can also help measure the progress on the SDGs. For example, we are talking about standards and impact assessment. If, for example, Nigeria as a country is saying we have done well in terms of zero hunger, how is that going to be substantiated? Every company, every country, for example, can make a claim just to have a good face in the global space. But if there is quality and open data, these things can be checkmated. The impact assessment can be done. So moving on to the next slide, this is a Sustainable Development Report 2023 for Nigeria. We can see the areas that are showing red where Nigeria has not been doing well. So with quality data, with viable data, we can know which areas we need to improve on. We can know which areas we need to lay more emphasis on, which areas we need to work on as pertaining meeting the sustainable development goals. Because of time, I will just quickly move on to the last slide. So data for driving development in least developed countries. So data can drive development in least developed countries through tackling food insecurity. The first speaker, food insecurity is a global challenge, but it is more of a challenge in least because technology is not in place. Sometimes the food even perish before they get to the consumer, or even before they get to the market. The food are perished. So that losses, the storage facilities, the way the farmers store the produce, it leads to losses, which leads to food insecurity. But if data is being taken about where the locations of the farmers, there are some farmers who will spend days just to take their produce from the farm to the market. If the government knows all of these places where they are facing these challenges, where our food is coming from, and why are these food getting wasted, why are they perishing, the government can make initiatives, for example, like constructing roads or repairing existing roads or creating alternative roads for the farmers to be able to move their produce to the market, which also boils down to eradicating hunger and poverty. If we are able to secure our food, that will go a long way to eradicate hunger and poverty. Also, it will improve financial inclusion. Data can help improve financial inclusion in these countries. Already making a strive on the global space. So farmers need to be aware, and people in the least developed countries, in developing areas, in the rural areas, they need to be aware of the technology that are available. Even if the bank is not there, they are far from the bank, this technology are also available to people no matter where they live, no matter the rural areas where they live. Also, supporting the creation of good quality jobs. Quality data can support the creation of good quality jobs and also ensure good compensation for employees. If, for example, with quality data, a benchmark, salary benchmark can be made. You understand? Global best practices. For example, if I'm a teacher, what are teachers paid doing the same job I'm doing in other locations? If I'm a teacher and I'm living in OYO, what are teachers who are doing the same job I'm doing in Abuja, what are they paid? What are teachers in Ghana paid? What are teachers in the US paid? How do my pay compare to their pay? So with quality data, all of these things can be looked into. Data can also help tackle climate change. Data can tackle climate change through statistics. For example, the rising sea levels, all of these things are climate change. If we have data, historic data and current data, it can help make informed decisions on the modalities and the measures to take to tackle climate change. Data can also help reduce inequalities. Data can help reduce inequality by having a database of, for example, if our government have a good database of earnings of individual, a taxation system can be introduced that help reduce inequality. For example, if I earn 50,000 naira and somebody that earns, let's say 500,000 naira, we are supposed to be taxed on percentage, not on amount. You see what most firms do today, when it's time for salary increment, they can say we are increasing salary by 10%. That decision alone is widening the inequality between employees of that company, because in such company, you will find people that earn 3 million per month, and you find people that earn 20,000 naira per month. So if a company is saying we are increasing salary by 10%, it means the person who earns 3 million monthly is getting an increment of 300,000. The person who earns 20,000 monthly is getting an increment of 2,000 naira. You see, inequality is also widening. Instead of bridging the gap, it is widening the gap. So that is why quality data is very important. Data also helps to enhance quality education through access to good teaching materials, quality tools, quality teaching materials, quality resources. Like what we are doing now, we can get resources from the internet. So data can also help boost and improve quality education. Data also help for the preservation of wildlife and aquatic life. As we know, there are some animals that are under threat of extinction, animals that are endangered species. If we do not have data on these animals, on this wildlife, in the first place, before they can be conserved, there need to be data, appropriate data on them. Where are they? In what location are they? What are their numbers? Who are the persons pushing on these animals? So all of that are information that will be needed to make a quality decision on how to preserve this wildlife. And the last but not the least, data can also help manage waste. Where are the waste dumps? How are these waste generated? With quality data, like we are looking at climate action. Improper waste management is part of the major cause of climate change, like burning of fossil fuel, gases, and all the likes. These things lead to climate action. So if we can manage our waste very well, it will help, quality data will help manage our waste very well. And it will help the government, it will help all stakeholders to come out with modalities on how this waste can be managed. With this, I will end my session. So I will take any questions at this point. Thank you very much for listening.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Jerry. I was so much enlightened by your session. Thank you so much, which means that data is a necessary aspect of every development we are envisaging. Without data, we can't know where we are coming from, where we are presently, and where we are going to. Thank you so much. Please, I want us to signify. I want us to signify if we have any question. Please, can we raise up our hand? If anyone has question for both Mr. Damilari's session and Mr. Jerry's section. Is there anyone? Anybody? All right. Okay. Does that mean we understand what was said? All right. Ura, I'll over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Saz. Actually, any of the panelists or the speaker should be able to answer my question. Now, I want to answer, how can we readily introduce tech to the rural areas, rural or semi-urban areas? Because we know that agriculture is predominant in those places. I remember during transfer was the order of the day. I'm into food processing, and I had the problem of actually purchasing granules because from the farm. So how do you think these farmers in the rural or semi-urban area, how do you think they can actually readily accept this tech? Because we all know that the tech actually makes everything easy, but there are some stubborn, let me use the word stubborn, people in the nation that will not want to go in that line. So how do we make sure that they accept these things? Thank you very much.
All right, let's go with Mr. Damilari first, sir. Mr. Damilari, are you there, sir? All right, Mr. Jerry, can you just give us an answer to that.
Thank you very much for the question. Personally, I am a farmer. This has been a major challenge. Currently, there is no platform dedicated to farmers. We have a platform where farmers can showcase their products, but there is no special platform that is dedicated to agriculture. I don't know if there is any, but I have not found any. So I think to solve that problem, stakeholders should also look at the possibility of creating platforms that are dedicated to farm produce. For example, if I produce, let's say maize, there should be a platform where I can put up my maize for sale. So persons who are interested, who need that maize, can also come to that platform to order for the maize. Currently, the only platform I see where farmers can actually showcase, but it's not limited to farmers alone. So what I'm saying is that it should be just farmers alone, agriculture alone. I think we currently have GG, we have the Facebook marketplace. If you go on those places, you see farmers showcasing various products, but it would be better if there is a special app that is being made for farmers only, for agricultural produce buying and selling only. I think with that, these products will be available and the market will be more viable and more interesting for people to come into agriculture. Thank you.
All right,
Sorry,
thank you so
before we
much.
go on with that question.
All right, yes.
Mr. Jerry said there's no platform dedicated to agricultural products alone. I believe when I was introducing what we're doing a farming app is dedicated to just farmers alone. And the problem of rural farmers, actually, one of the things we sought out to do with them is because of the internet network that might not be predominantly available in rural areas, and some of these farmers don't even own Android phones. But what we've noticed is they all own mobile phones. So one of the things we are trying to put in place is using SSD to put their products for sale on farming app, for example. And they can actually call the customer care line to like put their product for sale, like, okay, I have 1 hectare of land. So we are trying to put together data to measure, because most of them don't even know how much product they can harvest from their farmland. So we need data of, for example, what is the type of seed the person planted, what's the land area mass that the person has. So we can easily use that to estimate, oh, this is the amount of tons this person is going to harvest. Then we can put it for sale on farming app, and we have buyers come to, they actually can order for their product before they harvest them. So when they harvest, you can easily get to the farmers, to easily get to the buyers. So just to reduce the amount of perished product that we have on the road. And one of the things we are putting in place is we don't just want to use the road transportation again because of the logistics company we are bringing on board. We want to even use train transport. So if you are taking something from something like Kaduna to Lagos, it will be cheaper to use a train than to use your normal road, which the road network is bad. And even we carrying those heavy duty products is what's actually affecting our Nigerian roads. So we can get those things to a train, and we have already booked a whole, cubicle in the train. Then we can have so many agricultural products that we are transporting to a particular location at once transported there. So that's one of the solutions we are putting in place to help the rural farmers to like put their product online. And Mr. Jerry, there is a platform dedicated to just farmers, grocery stores, and logistics companies that can transport their products, which is farming app. Okay. Though we are just still launching, but the sales and the likes will start on Friday, this week Friday by God's grace. But farmers can already register right
farming
now.
App, right? Farming app.
Yes, farming app, farmyapp.com.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Jerry. Thank you, Mr. Olaya. And thank you, Mr. Damlari, for the awesome session. I would like to appreciate everyone right now. We have 2 minutes more. I want us to end in 2 minutes time. I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the first webinar session. And I would just like to ask us one or two persons randomly on the group what you've learned so far in 15 seconds. And I will time you. Olayinka Buluwatife, are you there? Kindly unmute yourself and say in 1-2 sentences what you've learned from this webinar. Mrs. Barbara, get ready. You are the next person. Is Olayinka there? All right. Mrs. Barbara.
Okay, thank you. And it's Miss Barbara. So I learned
Okay,
that
Miss
data
Barbara.
is key, data is powerful. It really exposes us to a lot of information, and it can really guide us in decision making and in development. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ma. Caleb, over to you. What have you learned so far from the 3 sessions that we've taken?
Good evening.
Olayinka,
Can I know what
good
it
evening.
means?
You're welcome.
Sorry, I was having issue with my network. I could hear you, but you can't hear me.
All right. In
So
one
one
sentence.
thing I learned is the fact that it's not enough to make a solution. You should be concerned also about the management of the solution, the sustainability of it.
All right. Thank you so much,
That's what
Olayinka. Yes, that's great. Caleb, are you there? Can you hear us? What did you learn? You'll be the final person before we run off.
Okay, so all I could say that I learned mainly was that, okay, the preparation for making carrying out a project requires a lot of understanding of what you want to carry out, getting the data for it, and the importance of having enough. I'll use the word documentation for the data you want to carry out, because it will help on the long run than just implementing it, and then maybe after you finish implementing it, it doesn't have any function after the day of implementation, after that purpose of implementation, and it eventually ends up dying. So that's all I could say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your precious time. I understand the meaning of time, precious. So I want to say thank you for dedicating this time for this session. So next week, Sunday, we have our second webinar where we'll be talking about mental health and addiction on SDG and all that pertains to we human. So it will be an awesome session. The graphics will be out sooner, probably by the end of tomorrow or by Tuesday, so that we can share on our platform. We want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, and have a sustainable week ahead of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Esther, thank you. Mr. Jerry Gabon, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Olayinka, thank you. Mr. Olafemi, thank you. Mr. Okpei, thank you. Muraola, thank you so much. Mr. Abdulaziz, thank you. Ifeoluwa Emmanuel, thank you so much. Ayomide Adebayo, thank you. Mr. Caleb, thank you. Mr. Damlari Israel, thank you so much. So have a nice time, everyone, and bye.
Bye. Thank you too.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. See you next week, Sunday.
Yeah.
And happy anniversary, Mr. Ojo.
Yeah, Joe.
Where's our rice
Okay,
and chicken? Anniversary feast.
Please, can you shift that to my DM? If you can go into my DM. Thank you so much. Kuli for everybody that wish me happy anniversary on their day.
Happy anniversary. Send my
Courtesy from Muraola.
What's up, Mr. Ojo?
All right, bye everyone.
Yeah.